Thanks. All right, everybody, welcome to the Abington Conservation Commission meeting. It is 6:31 PM. The date is September 9th, 2025. First up on the agenda, we have a request for determination of applicability filed by Scott Lambiese to convert vacant school to 20 residential units, project located at 171 Adams Street. Is anybody here?
We actually, I have, I guess, two agenda items.
Yes, you do.
Hear them both at the same time.
We can do both of these at the same time.
Yeah, we can do both at the
I mean,
same time.
Just for the quick background on it, I'm not sure if everybody's aware that these are the North and Center School buildings. These properties date back to the 40s, maybe. In that era, we've tried diligently to sell these properties. We were hoping that they could be converted and used for senior housing and/or affordable housing. It required a lot of restrictions to be put on them. Developers have shown no interest in the multiple times that I've put these out to bid. My hope in the hope of the Board of Selectmen is that we're, at this point, we will seek permits and put it out to bid as a permit-ready project. So we want to make sure that we meet with all the appropriate boards just to get approvals ahead of time. I don't believe there are any wetland issues up there, or we're anywhere near any wetlands. I will say on the property where the center school is, which abuts a ball field,
Yeah.
that will be, a plan will be put together to carve that ball field part off that will remain with the town, and just the top portion of that property will be put out for development. We're hoping that people will still reuse the buildings and not actually create any more development up in Center School anyways. Certainly North School lends itself to a lot more work. Again, there's very little, if any, wetland issues anywhere around there.
Yeah, I don't believe there's any wetlands up in that area at all.
This
on
is-
either one of them.
This is 171 Adams, North School. So I didn't see any wetlands on there. And then we have a 65 Baxter. Is it Ave?
Yeah.
And, yeah, there's nothing, nothing there. Just a question, in terms of the footprint of the building, would it have to stay the same, or would they have, whoever bought it would have the ability to?
They'll have the ability to make some changes, but we're seeking a variance for the properties to make it easier for permitting.
Okay.
So it will be a maximum of 20 bedrooms, 20 units per property. We had a conceptual plan done on Center School, and that sort of fits within that, with that footprint, with maybe some minor changes. To be quite honest with you, if anything on that particular one, there'd probably be a need for less asphalt. It probably would actually clean it up quite a bit. Now, that's assuming they're able to use the buildings, which was another one of the problems with, they're just old buildings that we were asking them to reuse. We were offering, the town would be happy to take part in putting any historic restrictions on it if they could get historic tax credits for it to help offset the costs. And it's just no interest in it. We're hoping this will make it more of a viable project. I can't guarantee what they'll want to do at the end of the day, but the permits will only be for 21 bedroom units per building.
So if anyone wanted more, then they'd have to go back to the other boards or whatever.
Yeah, they'll end up having, so that's what we're requesting through variance process with the Board of Appeals, and anything beyond that, they'll have to return and ask for a variance. And they probably subsequently come back to this board, but again, I don't think there's any wetland issues.
Okay.
Looks okay.
Any questions from the board?
Nope. Glad to see those buildings move.
Yeah.
Anyone from the audience? This is for 171 Adams and 65 Baxter Avenue. Nothing? Okay. Bring it back to the board.
Make a motion for a negative determination on, well, we'll vote them separately, I guess, yeah. So, 171 Adams Street, negative determination.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous?
And a motion for a negative determination on 65 Thaxter.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. Awesome. Okay, next up on the agenda, SC 0840576, notice of intent filed by MP Design Consultants for residential subdivision with wetland crossing and 3 single-family lots, project located at 4454 Linwood Street. Can you pull that up?
Good evening, Scott Rubin here on behalf of the applicant. I have a group of my team here as well. Matt Morrow, our environmental consultant, Tom Miles is here, our arborist, and Mark making some noise back there from MP Consultants. I was before the board, I guess back in June, we had asked for a continuance for this meeting, and since that time, we have, just to provide the board an update, Matt has conducted a further study at the property, has filed the wetlands replication report, which the board should have. Not sure that, I don't think we have any peer review comments from that at this point, from that filing. Since then, we've also filed updated plans with the planning board as well. I was not at that meeting, I could not attend, but there was some discussion about the plans, the revised plans, and that matter was continued, I believe, until December for basically because the work that still needs to be done to provide some updated information. Larry Silva, I think from Silver Engineering in Bridgewater, is a new consultant, I guess, for the planning board, had provided a series of reviews, which we're looking at. They really weren't, there was a lot of comments about the previous report that I think we had already worked on, but there are still some things that we need to update for that report as well. So for tonight, because we don't have, expectation is that we'll have peer review maybe after this point, since we don't have it. I think we'd like to either hear from the board. If you'd like to hear from Matt about his replication report, we can make that presentation as well. We thought tonight's meeting could be used to discuss the tree issue. Since we were here in June, we hired an arborist to provide a report and to enlighten the board as to what we think we can do on the site that makes sense, and to provide for some growth and some healthy canopy at the location. The bylaw, we have no issue complying with the planning board's tree bylaw. There's 2 different bylaws in the town. Outside the buffer zone, we don't really have an issue. Inside the buffer zone, we would prefer not to have to do all the plantings that are required. We can do them, but based on Tom's experience in his walking the site, reviewing the plans, the health of those trees, the required number of trees are just going to choke the site, and they're just not going to survive, more than likely. And so we can make a presentation to the board. We'd like to hear from the board as to what would work. I understand the bylaw has some flexibility. Again, we're happy, well, not happy, but we can comply with the bylaw, except we just think that by the 2nd or 3rd growing season, we're gonna have a loss of trees. And so we'd prefer to make a site that's gonna survive as far as the tree proposal is concerned. So if that's the board's, we're not really here to prepare for an entire discussion since we don't have peer review back. So I think it's worth the conversation, at least to try to move the ball forward a little bit in this plan. I know it's been a while. My involvement has been recent, but we did feel like we accomplished quite a bit between now and then, and filed updated plans with the planning board, which we had not done at the last meeting. So I leave it to the chairperson to give us some guidance as to what you'd like to hear from tonight.
I think talking about the trees is hasty, because we had asked for you guys to go to planning to determine the length of the road or the width of the road, going to fire, those things haven't been done. And I got the comments from the new peer reviewer who, for those of you who don't know, we had a peer reviewer from planning that looked at the original plans.
Yeah.
Your firm made comments, and now
Well,
the
and we-
previous, well, someone
Yeah.
made comments. The planning board has hired a new peer reviewer who
Right.
looked at the previous comments, their response, and also looked at the Conservation Commission's peer reviewer and made responses
Yes.
to those. And there seems to be a lot of work that still needs to be done.
Some work still needs to be
There,
done, for
well,
sure.
you know, having to redesign the infiltration basin, needing to have a sidewalk, a gravel sidewalk going along the road to get access to stormwater, which is going to affect the wetlands themselves. There were questions about whether you need a 20-foot wide easement for pedestrian traffic. That was on comment number 8. That, you know, sewer layout doesn't provide a good connection design, you should go to DPW for that. The unique water configuration needs review by the DPW. Snow storage issues.
Well,
There's a lot that needs to be redesigned here, and we need that done before we can talk about trees. Although,
Okay.
speaking of trees, there was an interesting comment in here from our peer reviewer regarding the tree issue. And one of your response, I don't know exactly you or somebody else within your team, the canopy that's remaining is well populated with trees, and it was agreed strict implementation of the bylaw in its current form would not be practicable. We didn't agree to anything, and I talked to planning, and they said they've never discussed the trees with you.
Yeah, you're,
Yeah.
that's not my report. I think that's,
If I could address that, the term agreed does not in any way commit the Conservation Commission or the Planning Board. It was myself and your third-party reviewer that actually agreed on site that strict implementation of your tree bylaw may not be practical.
Right, but
Now,
the
it doesn't-
way it was written makes it seem like it was agreed.
Okay, no, I didn't write it, so what you're phrasing, I get it.
Yeah.
But what I'm telling you is it's not what, and so I'm stating this for the record, that's not what was meant
Okay.
by that
yeah,
statement.
there's been
Okay.
no decision by any board about, really. about
Okay, I let
anything, so.
the new peer reviewer know that, and planning also told me that they also hadn't discussed it, so it was very clear to the new peer reviewer what the statement interpretation should be.
Thank you for letting us know that. If I had known that that interpretation was going around sooner, I would have sent out an email clarifying. So I
Okay.
appreciate the fact that you did that. So-
Yep. Thank you. But, I mean, there just seems like, before we even get into trees, we need to know, like, what the actual design is going to be and what the stormwater is going to be. And when I see things like your calculations are incorrect and
Sure.
things like
I
that.
totally understand. We, as a group, I asked the engineers to review that report and they didn't believe in their opinion that it would substantially change as far as the tree layout is concerned, but that's fine. We're happy to continue. I would suggest then that we continue the meeting. We're before planning in December. We expect to have further reports to be done sometime in October. It's possible we'll ask them to advance the meeting up to November. It was a tight time frame for us for what still needs to be done. But we're happy to extend another meeting if you're not prepared to hear about those items tonight. It's
Well, I would,
okay with me.
like I said at the last meeting, I think you need a definitive plan from planning board before you even know how many trees we're talking about. My guess is this road is gonna change with planning board.
We're abiding, Mark Allencar with NP Design Consultants.
Yeah.
We're abiding by the zoning bylaws for the road, as well as the length and width. And also our lots configurations are mostly locked in Was zoning abides by the
So,
zoning?
so here's the problem, and I explained it at the last meeting. If we approve something, and zoning or planning board changes it, then everything we approved is null and void. So why not make it easier for yourself to get a definitive plan from planning board approved, and then come back to us, and then we'll know exactly where the road is, how many trees you're taking down, where the wetlands are. I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. If I was the developer, I would not want to go through this and pay and bring all you guys here, and then have it changed at planning board, and now you got to come back and change it again.
I just didn't want to ask for yet another continuance without coming before the
I would
board,
suggest you
and-
continue until January.
And that's fine.
That's my opinion.
I could,
Sure.
Just to add on to what Alex is saying, and what our chair had indicated, planning had said they had concern with as far as the stormwater and the sidewalks. I mean, that may impact the area, the square footage that's being, proposed here. It can go from 4219 to, we don't know yet what planning's
That's my
going to say,
point.
yes or no. And once you go over 5,000 square feet, I mean, it becomes,
Now we got another problem.
it's a limited project. So, I mean, you're talking
I have no issues with that. I guess,
Army Corps of Engineering plans come into play. So, I'm just saying.
that's fine. I think, again, the purpose.
But I'm
of
just
me
trying to
be
point
here,
out
I
what our
totally
concerns
understand. I'm just asking the board's flexibility. The question for us is whether the board's going to have flexibility relative to the tree bylaw, because practically speaking, we can comply with it, but we would prefer not to have to do that. So we have two competing bylaws, one inside the buffer zone, one outside the buffer zone. And so when we go to prepare a plan and get a definitive plan, we also would like to know whether if there's a substantial difference between what your bylaw requires for the tree, what our proposal is. So we're probably talking, what's the number we have? Is it about?
Required is 181, and we're proposing now with the information that our arborist provided us, and he's been to the site today. We looked at the site together. So basically, the required amount is, based on his professional opinion, is to have, with the shrubs, how the counts with the shrubs counted up, it's 119 and a half, because the shrubs can count as half and so on, and required is 181.
So we're talking about
67.
About 60 effective trees. So for us, it would help to know if the board's flexible and is going to work with us with that number, and then we can, I'm not asking for a binding
Right.
opinion,
I-
or a binding decision.
I would think the board will probably work with you on
Okay.
that. I mean, we can't commit
We can't
until
commit
we
to
see it.
anything.
But
I understand.
I understand what you're saying, and I think there would probably be some flexibility if you presented a proper plan.
That's fine. That's about the biggest impact, I think, potentially between the bylaw and compliance and the plan, that we were hoping to get some kind of feedback on. So with that in mind, I'm happy to request a continuance until the January meeting. If we can advance sooner and we somehow
Then
get
you
into
could-
planning board sometime into November, I'm happy to do that.
Well, if we continue it then to January, it's going to have to be January, or you're going to have to notify everyone again.
That's fine. What's the?
I just wanted to update on a couple of things.
Sure.
Now, Matt Morrow Environmental Consulting. Just wanted to update you guys on a few of the comments that we addressed by Mr. Rockwell. So I went out on the site with Mr. Rockwell, Nick, and some members of the team. We did find on an isolated wetland that was in an area that was actually originally slated to be wetland replication. So I went out with Mr. Rockwell, we took a look at it, we did some augering, we surveyed the plants, and both he and I tied up some flags, agreed on the line, which are now represented on the plans for you guys. So there was an issue there that you guys wanted examined. We addressed it for the commission. So that area, you're gonna see the additional flags on the plan. Mr. Rockwell also asked me to tie up some pond high watermark flags, only in a certain length that will be relevant to where the house locations were being proposed. That was done, that is also on the plans. Wetland replication areas, new ones, I went out based on John's recommendations, and I went out, I looked at the area, this time I used my car and I thought so it wouldn't get hit. We found 2 other areas that are now proposed on the plan that actually will work out really well as far as replication goes. If they have to be expanded or modified because of adjustments made to the roadway, we can work on that. If the roadway shrinks down, probably be better off just leaving it in its current greater than, 1-to-1 status.
So would that be the area 35, A35 through A40?
Here, yep. I'll show you.
Down here?
If you look at my,
So you're creating a wetland down here. This is your reclamation area,
so,
correct?
see,
Yep,
so there's the large one, there's the small one.
yep. So where does that create a new buffer from that wetland?
It would create it relative to the houses, not the abutting lots. Matter of fact, the resident that actually made the concern about creating the additional buffer, turns out has a buffer anyway, because the area that you asked to examine turned out to be an isolated wetland, jurisdictional under your bylaw.
Okay. But does that recreation in this area here?
It doesn't extend it to anybody's property except any future homeowner over here. It doesn't go, it's not gonna extend a buffer zone off the lot, it's not gonna extend a buffer zone out on an abutting property, it's gonna be all contained within here.
Where's the FEMA line on here?
That I do not know. Oh, it's right here. I just saw it. May I?
Sure.
I'm sorry, I just want to point this
I'm
out.
just curious.
It's right here.
So that is the FEMA line
That's the
there?
FEMA line right there, yes.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
So,
If you like, I can email the PDF of this so you have something a little better to zoom in and out, so you have something that's a bit more outlined.
so all limits of the recreations are within 100 feet of your property
They're all
line?
over here, yeah.
But you're showing down here in your parcel?
It's here, and here.
So what are these down here, the A?
Those are actually BVW flags. Those are actually part of the BVW on this side, because you've got a wetland crossing here.
Okay.
So you've got a BVW that comes around here, it comes up over here as well, and here is the IVW that Mr. Rockwell and I found.
Okay,
But it's right here.
Okay.
Right here. You've got it on the dotted lines there, but Nick, I'll email you this PDF, so you have something a little bit more bold to look at.
sounds great.
Okay.
Anyway, those are my updates. We did look at the area regarding the riverfront. I'm sorry. I thought my big Italian mouth would be loud enough. So, we did look at the area regarding the riverfront. Riverfront doesn't extend to the property. There is some riverfront on the edge of the pond. He did note that. We also examined the beaver habitat out there. There appears to be a lodge on the opposite side of the pond by where it comes in. What we saw was that the trees that are remaining on the property, areas that are going to be left untouched, your buffer zones that you guys have enacted under your bylaw, is going to provide enough of a covering and enough soft wood to contain and continue that portion of the habitat to be valuable. When you actually look at where the beaver were actually engaging in past activity, old chews, trees that were down but not taken, etc., you saw it only went a certain distance away from the pond. Didn't go outside those zones, so it shouldn't go outside the remaining tree canopy. That's basically what we had agreed to while we were out there. Mr. Rockwell and I actually spent quite a while, and you were with us too. There were a couple times we went out there, we walked it and took a real hard and long look at the area. So, I just wanted to update on those. If there are any other changes that you guys are going to require, or anything else you wish examined, please let me know. And if the third-party reviewer, John, if he wants to walk the new proposed replication area so he can examine them for himself, be more than happy to avail myself of a sidewalk.
Okay, let's wait until the stormwater is, because if they have to do things like add the sidewalk, that'll increase the amount of replication, et cetera. So let's wait for that.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Agreed. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
thank you.
We have a date for the-
So,
we have a date in January 10th.
We,
Yeah.
audience.
So, do you want a January 13th or 27th?
I'm sorry?
13th or 27th?
We'll take this from 13.
Okay. So my motion is to continue this
Wait.
here.
I want to hear from the public.
That's right.
Does anybody in the audience want to have any comments?
I feel like we're good friends, but Elise McMenamin, 9 Hunts Pond Lane, I'm an abutter. So I feel like I attended maybe a slightly different planning meeting last week, so I was surprised to see the big party here tonight. What I took away from that meeting was, and I got the copy of the peer reviewer reports, there was actually a notation that a lot of comments that were previously provided were not addressed. But in terms of the Conservation Committee, I rewatched the May 27th meeting. And in that meeting, the fire commissioner or fire representative very clearly stated that the road went over a wetland crossing and it didn't seem wide enough. The Conservation Committee also said, we highly suggest you revise your project. Doesn't seem feasible because if you have to extend the road, you're gonna, the houses and the buffers and so forth. None of that was done. And they almost seemed surprised, again, to hear the fire commissioner's comments about the road length and everything. And in the planning meeting, one of the representatives clearly stated, well, if they have to expand the roads, that's going to impact the water basins, that they would have to remove it. So talking about trees or fixing buffer zones or anything almost kind of seems like a waste of time, because they're gonna have to really change the project. It just seems as though the comments that are being provided aren't being taken into consideration, but something that I was hoping you guys could help me clarify. I've been told that the buffer zone on Lisa Aiello's property no longer exists. However, the concerning thing that was said in the planning meeting is that it's not illegal to create a buffer zone on someone else's property. And now I'm not an expert, but during my limited Google search and through my ChatGPT friends, that does not seem correct. It is illegal. You would have to get an easement to recreate something that would cause a buffer zone on someone else's property. Am I incorrect on that?
I,
Never heard of that, but it would
Is
be,
it legal that they can create buffers on someone else's property?
No, it's not illegal.
I've never heard of it not being illegal, but if you have something that says that they require, I'd be interested in hearing about that.
So they can create a buffer zone on Lisa's property?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll have to look into that a little more. I just think that we're working with people that are not taking comments seriously, and if you have to expand that road, like the fire department has suggested, it significantly impacts their project.
Yes.
That's even what the developer, one of them said, well, that would, severely change my plans, but the story seems a little different here. And so I just thought that, I heard that at the planning meeting. I know that Liz sent you guys over everything, but those are things that I want to bring up because I'm actually a little surprised to hear that they're pushing to go to a November meeting with consideration of all the things. I read the report. It doesn't seem like just little things that they have to address. There's a lot of comments, not addressed, previously provided. It sounds like they have to rework their plan significantly, so I don't know if they'll be ready in November or December. We'll keep coming back, but I just wanted to make sure those points were covered.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you respond to that? If you have time?
sure.
Yeah. No?
Yeah.
Okay.
Really here for a full meeting, so.
All right, right. Anybody else from the audience? No? Yes, please come.
Sorry, I'm a little out of breath. I had to run up here from work. My name is Lisa Aiello, 11 Hunts Pond Lane. So once again, I would just like to express my vehement disapproval of anything affecting my property, which it sounds like it will create a buffer zone on my property. I know prior it was stated that I was for it and that they had spoken with me, so that was not accurate. So again, I just want it recorded in this meeting, and I just want to state that publicly, that I am against anything that puts my property into a buffer zone. Yeah, he just said it's legal, so I will look into that as well, and I will get a lawyer if I have to. So I just want to state that publicly. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. You may-
May I, I'll just be real quick, because I don't want to belabor the points here, because I've heard these before. So as far as the jurisdictional buffer zone goes, it's not illegal for a wetland replication to actually extend the buffer zone onto somebody else's property, because a buffer zone is a zone of jurisdiction. It's not in and of itself a resource area. That's the legal principle behind it. So when you do seek a lawyer's opinion, please clarify to the attorney that it's a jurisdictional buffer zone and not some type of prescriptive easement or restrictive area. It's just a zone of jurisdiction. There have been countless projects that I've seen, and even other projects on commissions that I've served on, where you have wetland replication areas that will, it's something I don't advise my clients to do if it can be avoided, which is why we moved the replication area, because the commission actually expressed the concerns, which was one of a few reasons why we moved it. We wanted to make sure that we didn't create that. That is not being created here now with this new plan. Even if the wetland replication area gets expanded, it is not going to extend the buffer zone on your property or on your property. So the plan that they've submitted, if you want to see it, I'll show you my tablet after. I'll show you where the wetland replication is moved, but
So you're
just-
saying that if she wanted to do an addition on her house, and she doesn't have to file conservation now, she wouldn't have to file when you're all done?
no, if it creates, it won't now, because we're not putting the wetland replication area near her property and extending a buffer zone.
Okay.
If it's the same property I'm thinking of where the original replication was proposed, turns out that was an isolated wetland. So under your bylaw, there is a zone of jurisdiction that extends to a property because of Mother Nature, not because of anything anybody did.
Okay.
So that's it. Again, we've moved it to address, one of the reasons was to address that specific concern. And my clients have committed to making sure that that specific concern remains addressed. So with that, I'll again offer, once we come up with a final figure, for Mr. Rockwell, the third-party review, to come out and walk with me the areas that we're proposing for replication. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, back to the board.
Motion to continue to January 13th.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, unanimous.
So
Thank you.
again, for the residents, you will not be notified again by mail. The next hearing will be January 13th, right here. If, for some reason, they decide to change it, move it up, or move it back, whatever, they will have to notify the abutters again. But as of now, this is your notification that it will be January 13th. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay,
Appreciate your time, guys.
thank you. Next up, SCO 040583, notice of intent filed by Abington Department of Public Works to construct a rotary, improve topography, and improve drainage. Project located at Hancock Street and Chestnut Street right-of-way.
Yep.
And
Stealing mine.
I understand, I have these plans, and you
Yes,
wanted them
for
up
those of
here?
you who don't know me, I'm John Stone, DPW Director.
Could you spell that?
Back when we first became a DPW in 2016, one of our first orders of business was to do something about the intersection of Chestnut and Hancock. I'm sure most of you are aware of its dangers and hazards. There's been numerous fatalities there, so we initiated with the state to come up with what essentially was a grant to create a roundabout there. Didn't meet the warrants for a four-way stop, didn't meet the warrants for a traffic signal, so we're going with the roundabout. And then we initiated with our design team, Apex, and they're here tonight as well.
Good evening. Yes, my name is Benny Hunt, and with my teammate, Lou, and also Jason Mai for presenting this project. And let me just give a quick introduction for this project. So like what John said, we are replacing the existing two-way stop intersection with a roundabout which is similar to the one next to the other side of the Chestnut Street. So, and also the reason for that is to improve traffic safety. And as you know, everybody knows this is a very dangerous intersection, so that also the car kind of fly by in intersections, and then the people are hard to get in and out for the intersection. So we are providing looking at the different options. So roundabout is the ultimate option for that, and also providing a crossover for each of the approach, so the pedestrian can get access to any of the corners in there, and also that we are improving some drainage in here between the roundabout, so we mitigate the water between the intersections. And also because of the topography change of that, so we have done some full depth reconstruction for the intersections, and also some water main replacement, and constructing 2 new retaining walls for the 2 abutters. So this project is going to be, the construction is going to be funded by MassDOT. And we are at the final stage of the project, and the anticipated for the advertising this project will be next January. So right now we just have the ML submitted, so hopefully we can get everything completed, and then we'll pass it to Drew, so he can kind of explain to what the stormwater is going to be for this project.
Sure. Again, I'm Drew Deland from Apex Companies. Could you jump to the next slide, please?
Yes. This one? Or the one after?
The following one. So this is an aerial, I'm sure most of you are aware of it, but Hancock Street runs north and south. Chestnut Street runs east and west. The reason we're in front of you today is because of the resource areas. We've highlighted the stream that runs around. It's in blue, shows the flow arrows. We had the resource areas delineated in 2023, and then in 2025, there's intermittent streams and bordering vegetated wetlands. The project area is near the intermittent stream on the east side of Chestnut Street and the north side of Hancock Street. It's a bit away from the intermittent stream on the west side of Chestnut Street. The disturbances within this stream and resource areas is 0. We are not disturbing any of the resource areas. Buffer zone impacts only. So within 100 square feet or 100 feet of the bordering vegetated wetland, we are increasing the impervious area by 100 square feet. It's pretty minimal. It's mostly just sidewalks and minor driveway adjustments. For the other Abington specific impacts, the no-build zone, we are decreasing the impervious area by 110 square feet. And in the no-disturb zone, we are decreasing by 70 square feet. Abington also has a 200-foot buffer zone to bank intermittent or perennial streams. In this case, it's intermittent, so water flows part of the year, not year-round. But we are increasing the impervious area 700 square feet in that buffer zone. As a whole, we're increasing the impervious area quite a bit. There's a roundabout proposed. Right now, it's just an intersection. So in total, we're gonna increase the impervious area by 69,020 square feet. It's a good amount, but most of it's outside of buffer zones, and all of it's outside of the resource areas. The next slide. This just shows a key plan of the impacts, the Abington specific impacts on the right that I just went over for the buffer zones, no build, no disturbs, and the bank. The next slide shows, it's a little difficult to see, but in a dashed black line is the extent of the proposed roundabout. That is the new impervious area. It's considerably larger than what's there now with the simple one-directional intersection. I think we could probably jump to the next slide, actually. This shows all the utilities and the roundabout itself. So in white is the actual drive lane on the inside. It's going to be a paver, more so for fire truck access around the roundabout. A little bit on the page bottom right of the roundabout. Also some paver bump out. So it is widening the area. Right now, there's some brush and grass around the intersection. A bit of that's going to become pavement, but it will provide a lot more sight distance and safety for the traffic intersection, as Benny mentioned. I guess I'll jump, or can you go to the next slide, please? So for the drainage, as I previously mentioned, there's an intermittent stream that has 3 culvert crossings. There's one on the bottom of the page, the right side of the page, and then outside at the top of the page. There's culverts for each of one of these stream crossings. We're not going to do anything to the culvert themselves, but there are pipes that connect to them for the stormwater. We're going to connect the new drainage into that pipe. So the new drainage associated with the realignment of the pavement, we're going to have to put in new catch basins, move catch basins, put in new drainage to pick up the curb line, and then connect into these existing culvert connections. We are putting in deep sump catch basins, which provides some sediment trapping and treatment. We can't put any subsurface infiltration or hydrodynamic separators because of Mass DOT rules. We tried for treatment, but it is what it is. We're going to put deep sump catch basins in, connect to the existing connections, and not have any disturbance to resource areas. I may have forgotten to mention that this is a redevelopment project, not a new development project. We're just realigning the pavement. And that's about it. Can we jump to the next slide?
Okay.
Questions? Yes.
All right. Members of the board? So what are you going to do about sedimentation control, erosion control?
So on the downgrading sides, near all the resource areas, just outside the resource areas, we will provide a 12-inch filter sock. And then in all of the existing catch basins, we'll have sill socks to trap all the sediment before it goes into resource.
Okay.
There's no work in the actual buffer zones here, is there?
There's work in the buffer zones.
Yeah.
It is what it is because the streams go underneath the roadway.
Okay.
So we're redoing the sidewalk and pavement. It's technically it's like right up to the resource area, but we're staying outside of
Is
it.
that 200 because it's the stream, intermittent?
So,
So are we looking
For
this?
bank, it's 200.
Do we need to establish an order of conditions for this project, or?
Yes, we will.
Okay.
This is, Chris, you can see the blue. That's how this intermittent stream, it kind of goes around
Got it.
the whole
Okay.
thing. And Nick and I went out there with you. Sorry, I forgot your name. Drew, yes, thank you. And looked at the culverts, they're already there. You could barely actually see them. Had no idea there was an intermittent
I
stream
knew
there.
there was one on Chestnut. I didn't know it went all
Yeah, I
the
didn't
way
know it came
around
down the
like
other
that.
side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we looked at those, and it was just all vegetated. You can't see it from
Yeah.
the road.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they look like they're in good shape, so.
Yeah. So, yeah, so if we
Yeah,
would do
no,
an
I'm
order of
just-
conditions.
I'm just-
on this, Yeah,
Trying to think what we would require for this.
yeah.
Obviously, any street drains, we just want sediment collection on. There's not a whole lot.
No, they've addressed pretty much everything.
Right, just pretty much just addressing runoff on the street, because it's going downhill towards those areas. So the catch basin, I'm drawing a blank on the proper terms for them right this minute here,
It's okay.
but that would be, I know we're not at that point. Well, are we looking to go to that point tonight, or?
No, I don't think so. I think when we actually go to write the order of conditions, then we can look at it a little more thoroughly, but I know exactly what you're saying. Because the state won't allow them to do any major my concern was that, what is going to be the impact of that intermittent stream?
Right, and that's,
Right.
they're doing the deep well catch basin, so that will provide the sediment control before it goes back to connects in the new drains, better than,
Yeah. We can, when the NOI can, yeah.
yeah, not ideal, but better than nothing.
Right. Right.
I'm just trying to see, so. All right, so are we trying to do anything with this tonight other than information?
Just approve the NOI.
No, they're looking for approval.
Yeah.
tonight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I.
I want to make sure that
yeah,
AJ,
wanna-
if he
you
has
all
any
said it.
comments.
Yeah, but I'm all set. Like I
Okay, anybody
said,
else before we open it up?
I have no other.
Okay. Anybody from the audience have any questions or concerns? Okay, bringing it back to the board. And when are you going to start up again? Maybe January?
Yeah, the project will be advertised around late January, so the construction
Okay.
most likely will be like summertime, late summertime, and then probably be like a 2-year constructions.
Right.
And MassDOT is to overseas and providing a
Right,
full-time
yeah,
residence
yeah.
in the doing construction. So
Yeah.
MassDOT will be like taking care of everything. So, but we'll be, as far as concerned, we'll be as well too. doing the
Okay.
construction.
And you will inform the commission before you begin, so
Oh,
we
yeah,
can have a
yeah,
meeting?
Definitely, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
yeah, MassDOT
So
will
we'll,
have their
we'll put
protocol.
that in our orders,
Yeah.
pre-construction meeting.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Okay.
once you provide us the order condition, we'll provide to MassDOT. So because
Right.
MassDOT is putting the whole package together.
Right, and they need
together.
that.
So they'll be including that, and then there will be anything that will be coordinated with the Concom.
Okay.
For when they could start, and then what's going to be, anything like that. So, I mean, MassDOT, they have like a typical protocol for their constructions as well too.
Sure,
So,
sure, yeah. Okay, great, thank you. All right, anything else? Any other comments? No? Okay.
Make a motion to approve
Second.
84,
Oh, yes.
Sorry.
You got it.
I'm just ready to go second.
84-0583.
Second.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous,
So
thank
we'll-
you.
We've got quite an agenda tonight, so we'll do the order of conditions at our next meeting.
Yeah, it's gonna just,
And we'll get everything to you as soon as that's.
so you don't have to attend it if you don't want to.
Yeah,
We have kind of a standard thing that we do.
Yeah.
Nick has a copy, but
there'll be no surprises.
yeah, it's not gonna be,
Thank you.
there's nothing really to add, yeah.
Thank you,
All right,
guys.
thank you very much.
John, we'll get you a copy right after the meeting.
Thank you, sir.
Okay?
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Alrighty, excuse me. Is anyone here about Zero Vineyard Road? Sorry, guys, can you keep it down, because
You guys mind going, step outside?
I can't hear. Okay. Before we go on next, is anyone here for Zero Vineyard Road? No? Okay. All right, so we'll go next on the agenda.
Zero Vineyards off of Harris.
Oh, yeah, off of Harris Court. No? Okay. Okay. All right. Request for determination of applicability filed by David Hall to install an 8x12 freestanding spa platform over existing lawn project located at 29 Dale Street. Hi.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Could you introduce yourself? And
My
your-
name is David Hall. I live
And-
at 29 Dale Street.
Okay, thank you.
So what we're looking to do is add a swim spa to our existing backyard on the grassed area. The unit itself is 12'6" by, I believe it's 7'8". It basically is just a large hot tub, is all it is. And what we're looking to do is, because my backyard is kind of sloped down and it's sloped this way, we were talking about building a platform the same size as the pool and sitting it on it. But after talking with my wife and some other people, we're thinking just a 6x6 pressure treated with a patio stone and put it directly on that so that we don't have animals and stuff going underneath it. So thinking if we build a patio, like we talked about.
Yep.
They would be able to get underneath it. So we're just gonna think about doing a 6x6.
concrete patio block and then put the unit right on that.
Yeah, Lynn and I and Nick went out there last week. I think that's actually a better idea.
I do too, I don't like pressure trees, but I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
stone is
And
much
the pool
nicer.
weighs 2,000 pounds, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
if I ever have to take it off to fix it, that's empty, 2,000 pounds. I figured that would be a lot easier and probably less invasive.
So how close is it to the resource areas?
About 70 feet, did we say?
So the stream is right here, and it, oops, I hit the wrong thing, okay. Oh, it's so hard to see. So it's about right
going on?
there. So it's about 170,
All right, so it's going on lawn that's already there?
yeah.
Well, it's
Yeah.
already there.
Yeah.
And then
It's 4 feet off the existing
The-
patio that's in my
Yeah.
backyard.
the wet,
I
it's
just
like
extend the existing patio, make it all stuff.
It's
It
just-
looked like
I'm gonna just put
40-ish
a
feet.
ladder to make it even, so we, just enough room to put that
Yep.
removable ladder between the patio and the pool itself, so we can pull it out when we're not using it.
yeah. And it's about 40-ish feet from the existing wetlands, so it's outside the no-build.
Okay,
Or-
good.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's outside the no disturb and the no-build.
Good to know.
Okay, any questions from the board?
No, mine were answered.
Okay.
Anybody in the audience?
Anybody in the audience have any questions? No? Bringing it back to the board?
I'll make a motion for a negative determination.
I'll second. Oh, you
All in-
got me.
Wow. That was
All in
quick.
favor?
That one a
That's a
kiss.
good thing.
Give
though.
that one a
Yeah,
kiss.
yeah, oh yeah, negative means good.
Negative means good.
Yeah,
The building inspector, well, that is
Second.
okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous. You're welcome, congratulations.
We'll step up.
Okay. All right, next up, we have request for determination of applicability filed by Shannon Duquette to install a 21 by 52 above-ground pool over existing lawn, project located at 350 Lincoln Street.
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Hello.
How are you?
Hey, I'm Josh, your husband. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you again.
Yeah, so we're just here, we want to put a 21...
Oh, can you introduce yourself and have your address?
Yep,
Yeah,
sorry.
Josh Duquette, 350 Lincoln Street.
Thank you.
Yep.
Got it. So we just want to put in a above-ground pool, 21-foot diameter, 52 inches high.
Right.
Met with you guys, you know where it's going. Nick was there, so,
You had a pre-existing pool that was there,
yeah, yeah,
and what you're doing is just putting it in the same area.
that's it.
Lynn and I were out there with Nick, and, you know, it's not going to be an impact.
Right.
A negative impact to any of the resource areas, so. I
Looked
don't
like
know.
it was anywhere about 70 feet-ish,
Yep.
maybe over 50. Existing lawn,
Yep. And they had a pool there prior, so.
right. And you were saying this pool was going to be smaller
Yeah, than the one
than
that
the
was
one
there.
before,
It
but
was
you
a
had to
24.
push it somewhere a little bit
Yeah.
farther back? Is that
Yeah,
right?
Be, I believe, like 10 feet off the back. of the
Yeah,
house.
10 feet from the
Yeah.
house.
Yep.
So, I'm just coming back slightly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's not that
No. I think
substantially
you make
different.
up the difference from the
Right,
diameter of the old pool.
yeah, exactly. Okay. Any questions? Anybody in the audience? No? Bring me back to the commission.
I'll make a motion for a negative determination on 350 Lincoln Street.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous.
You good to go?
Congratulations.
Very much.
Thank you.
Good. Happy swimming. You know.
Okay. All right, next up, request for determination of applicability filed by Anthony DiNatale to fill 1,274 square feet in order to store landscaping equipment, project located at 604 Bedford Street.
Good evening. My name is Charlie Woodward. I work for Professional Land Survey Associates, and I'm here representing Anthony DiNatale in presentation of his request for determination. First of all, I'd like to present you with the green card and the white card mailing slips to DEP. And secondly, I'd like to tell you that I've made some reduced plans. We do have a full-size plan I can set up on the easel, but I gave you some reduced plans, okay, if I could hand those.
Oh, this is the reduced right here.
This is just a reduced scale.
Thank you. Thank you, appreciate that.
And I'm sorry, I gave some of them out at a site walk that we had today.
Oh, this isn't where I thought it was.
5:30, so.
No,
No worries.
his new page.
I thought it was on 18.
It is. It is, yeah.
Thank you.
This is Clifford's right here.
No, I thought it was for up by the ale house.
Yeah. No, like right. Some other.
That's another, I know that's why I looked like it's gonna be interesting.
Yep.
I have one, yep.
Right here.
Thank you. Now we don't have to share, good.
Today at 5:30, we met out on the site for a site walk. Okay, we met Nick, okay, and AJ, a board member, and Ken Thompson was the wetland scientist who flagged this area. Okay, and we reviewed the site. We also submitted the calculations, okay, from our company showing that that isolated area is much smaller than the required area. So what Anthony would like to do is to fill that area in so that he can store his landscape equipment.
So this, it says it doesn't meet the requirements of an ILSF.
I'm
But it-
sorry, ma'am.
Okay, so I saw Ken Thompson's delineation,
Yes, ma'am.
and I saw the engineering calculations saying it doesn't meet the requirements to be considered an ILSF.
Mhm.
However, it does seem to meet the requirements for an isolated vegetated wetland. And that is, I know it's not protected at the state level, but it's protected at the Abington level.
Okay, so your opinion is that that is a protectable wetland?
Yeah, it's, I just went through Ken's stuff. He said that, just looking at the wetland hydrology indicators, we have water-stained leaves, trees with shallow root systems, saturated soils. There's indicators, wetland indicator species present. And he said the wetland vegetation criterion were met. The hydric soil criterion was met. It's an isolated land. It's, in looking at the definition that's used at the state level and by many towns, it's required to be 1,000 feet in size to be considered an isolated vegetated wetland, and it can't have an inlet or an outlet. And it appears here, it says the wetland is isolated with no outlet and measures 1,274 feet in size. So can you tell me, I mean, this looks like it's a wetland, just an isolated vegetated wetland.
Okay. Again, we were under the impression from our engineers and our wetland scientists that that was not a protectable resource.
Right. If your engineer, so your wetland scientist says it's a wetland, but then your engineering firm treated it like it's an ILSF, so they did the calculations, because for an ILSF, it has to be less than a quarter acre, or it has to be greater than a quarter acre, and there are all these other calculations you have to do, which they did, to show that it's not an ILSF. And if it's not an ILSF, it wouldn't have jurisdiction. But in Abington, we also protect IVWs, isolated vegetated wetlands.
Okay. Is there a square footage for that?
Typically, it's 1,000 square feet or
Yeah.
more. And this is 1,274 square feet.
And he's putting everything up here?
Okay.
He wants to.
Well, maybe I could ask you a continuance here. so
Yes,
that
I think that'd be
can talk to our
good.
people.
If you could get
He
Ken
wants
to
fill this.
look at this again, and
Okay.
maybe bring him in
So this is
Glad to.
to let us know, because
being discussed.
There's a lot of times,
So this is the area he
He
wants
wants
to
to
fill.
bring a little bit, fill it, and then
oh,
store material.
hopefully everyone can hear me. There's a lot of times when we'll have people come in to do a delineation, and they're looking at it at the state level, so they don't look for isolated vegetated wetlands.
Okay.
And then we'll have like a peer reviewer who will come in and say, oh, by the way, Abington protects more resource areas than at the state level. So there's a lot of towns that do that, and we're one of them that does a protection for the IVW. And some towns will define, it has to be 2,000 feet or greater. And we've never had a definition, so we're going with what, I think the state just says 1,000.
Okay, well, if I could, I guess I'd like to ask for a continuance so that I can speak to the two experts and
That would be
see
great.
exactly, because we were all under the impression that we were all set here. I mean, as
Yep.
far as what we were presenting.
Sure.
Not as far as the board's approval, but as far as what we were presenting.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's some misunderstanding between me and
Oh, absolutely,
the people
yes.
who work with us.
I didn't, I looked at this and I thought, nope, it's not an ILSF, and then I looked at
I
it more
wish you called me
carefully.
on, I wish I gave you my phone number.
I wish I had looked at this earlier, so, and I could have
How do you
said
spell your
something.
last name, sir?
Woodward, W-O-O-D-W-A-R-D.
Thank you.
Okay,
So you want to continue this?
yeah,
If I could, I'd appreciate that.
okay.
To our next 2 weeks or a month?
2 weeks would be more than enough.
2 weeks.
Okay.
Okay. So I would make a motion to continue this to, what's the date?
23rd.
23rd,
Second.
September 23rd.
All in favor?
September 20th. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, unanimous. Thank you.
No, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okey dokey. All right. Okay, so we have two items. Discussion on enforcement order for 95 Niles Street and request for determination of applicability filed by Patrick Kelly to remove 2 hazard trees, plant 6 native trees, replace existing 12-foot walkway with paver stone, project located at 95 Niles Street. We'll just combine them into one discussion.
Madam Chair, I'm moving out.
Okay. Thank you.
Patrick Kelly, 95 Niles Street.
Okay? So we
So
have,
just the 2 hazard trees and the walkway is what we're here for.
okay.
This is done, Gene. I'll grab you when this is done.
So you guys went on site walk?
Yeah, AJ and I went out.
AJ? Okay.
I guess to start with the restoration part of it first. I wasn't there for what led to the restoration, but honestly, right now, it seems to be thriving along that stream. The width, anywhere from 6 to 2 feet. There's a lot of growth right down at the bottom of the bank that kind of makes it seem like there isn't much of a stream there, but once you get in there, you can see that, it's flowing great. There's a lot of species in there. It seems to be functioning really well. I think seems like Ken did a great job getting in there and putting the right plants in. It's functioning quite well.
Okay, good.
Then to move on to the trees, they seem very, very dead. They're to the point where there's not a single leaf or even small little branches. They're all gone. It's just the limbs, the thick limbs that are left. There's some on the ground from pretty recent falls. It's, in my opinion, a danger to leave them.
Yeah.
The native plants they want to do along the fence, in my opinion, is a great idea.
So if we look at this map here, what fence are we talking about?
The
Side?
fence in between 95 and 75.
Okay.
Wooden stockade fence. I think
Oh, thank you.
I think they were hoping to do plantings similar to
Mine
the
didn't
trees
come
that were
out.
planted as part of the restoration. I think, what was it your wife said that she saw it?
So there were two, there's two that we used during the restoration. We were going to use
Yeah.
the same type of trees.
Yeah, said she had been to Sion's and checked in what they
Yeah, I
had.
think she was talking about a type of birch tree or something, I think she said.
The, and then as far as the walkway goes, it's existing asphalt. They want to replace it with the same thing, except pavers, was my understanding.
Yeah.
They weren't really proposing to go outside of what's there.
Okay. So the two dead trees, where exactly are they? If we look at,
If you look
So-
at the mass mapper,
Did you get
the red dots are on it.
yeah, but it didn't print out right. I got dots.
Oh, you just didn't, yeah, they're pretty well labeled on here.
That's the fence where they're gonna do the.
Okay.
That's one tree. That's
So this tree two, is that along the bank?
That's,
That one's in the bank.
That one's in
Yeah.
the bank,
That's in the
okay.
bank.
yeah.
And that one's gonna was that the one that's gonna get cut off at 3 feet and left?
Whatever the height is that you want.
Okay,
We just need to know what it is.
And looking at that tree when I was out there, I didn't even feel comfortable standing next to it. It's so rotted. So any type of snag or anything, I think is just asking for more issues to be continued. I would say even just stumping it and leaving the root base would be fine
okay.
at this point, because to leave any sort of standing hazard is
Hazardous.
exactly, and that's just how I stand. He's got a young kid, a young son, the
Yeah.
last, I have a child similar in age. I know they love to climb anything they can.
Yeah.
All I can picture is my daughter trying to climb a rotted snag in the yard.
Yeah.
And knowing how that would go. So I'd rather see that stumped level with the ground and let nature take its course.
I would, so one of the worries I have is eventually, the tree gets cut down, it starts to rot, it probably holds the stream bank up a bit. Okay, so that'll last like 5 to 10 years. Is there a plan for what to do when that tree goes? Is there going to be like another tree to
So
replace
do you
it?
want trees planted around that tree?
I'm just worried that when that tree, the roots eventually go.
So, ma'am, if you have a suggestion as to something that would correct the issue, just.
Oh, yeah,
Will?
I'm talking out loud, that's all,
Okay.
don't worry. My thought is of what happens in like 10 years when it finally, the roots have rotted. Is there a plan to put a tree near that, to take that into account, to have a root system that would keep it up?
If that's what you would like us to
Yeah.
do, that's what we'll do.
It would be good to know, I guess we can ask Ken, is he gonna be doing the plantings? Ken?
I can
Thompson?
ask him.
Okay.
But if you would like him to look at it to tell us where to put them, so
Yeah.
that they're in the right spot around that tree,
Yeah.
we'll do that.
Was
Okay.
that other large tree, I'm trying to picture, was that on that same side of the bank, or was that the opposite side of the?
They're both on the same side.
So there is another large tree on that side of the.
I think he means a healthy tree.
Oh,
Is that
the
a
other,
healthy tree in the
yeah, there's a
area?
healthy one. That one's, there's no problems with that one.
Right, is
That one's
that-
in good shape. That's on the same side.
That is,
It
on the-
is.
so there is an established large tree in that bank with the root structure.
So if tree A,
Dead tree A is
D
here,
for
there's a
dead-
large
dead is here.
established tree within.
and there's
an 8
something
foot-
within,
8 to 10 feet of it.
okay,
And that tree is probably 2, almost 3 feet in diameter, thriving.
okay. Is that one that Ken planted? Did he plant any trees along the bank?
There's
Of the
two planted
stream.
along the bank, but they're small.
Oh, no,
Okay.
this is probably a 30, 40-year-old tree.
Oh, okay, okay.
There's a lot of, the bank is very well planted with other trees and everything within the area. I understand where your concern is on erosion and everything, but there's no doubt in my mind that nature would take its course on this bank with how well it's vegetated within
Okay,
a well course, period.
Right.
I could be wrong, I'm not a botanist or a vegetation specialist, obviously, but I could see that bank growing in very quickly and establishing structures.
and you have the smaller trees, so let's say 10 years from now, those are gonna be much bigger trees and, yeah, okay.
Yeah, there's plenty of presence within that property of other trees, and I think they have a good presence of plantings along the stream to prevent erosion and
Okay.
control those issues.
Okay.
Just from my opinion, just looking at it.
Right. Okay.
It's not like our typical rock banks that we're seeing on the side of the roads that are just washing out because there's absolutely nothing established.
Right.
And then, yeah, both trees, tree number 1, they had one already fall off at a 3-foot mark. They cleaned it up. That's the one they were talking to leave at like a 3-foot point.
Okay.
Whether they're going to utilize that as yard art or what they're going to do, I'm not sure. But they weren't looking to remove stumps at the, they're just going to let them go their course. So, I'm not sure how, I defer it back to you guys with more experience, whether we need to put more conditions for the work or if it can just be how that's going to be left. I know this is a unique situation.
It would be great if we could get the arborist and Ken to work together on this. Just, I don't know, arborist could be the one that coordinates him with cutting it down and him telling him, you know, this is the right tree, leave this, if that's something to do.
We're just gonna have a regular tree company cut it down and roll it.
Yeah. But that's all I can think of.
Yeah. They're,
Remove it, stump it, replant it.
yeah, and they're planting 6 trees on the property, which is more than we usually see anyways,
Yeah.
which is definitely impressive, I would say.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure we don't leave any exposure for the duration of the walkway work when they're replacing the walkway or doing the tree work, that's
Right.
all.
Is there a plan for something, like when you're replacing that walkway, helping to protect things from getting into the stream?
So we can put a sock around it if you want.
Yeah, that would be great.
We can do that.
Yeah,
So you're taking asphalt out and putting pavers in,
Yes.
yeah,
which is gonna be better anyway.
right.
Yeah, so if you put a sock there, I think.
Yeah, it's on the far side of the driveway.
Yeah.
The driveway's in between that and the stream too.
I don't think we need to reinvent the wheel here.
No.
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty simple project.
To the audience.
Nobody in the audience for this hearing. I'm sure.
No, I don't, it doesn't look like
I think I
it.
recognize the audience.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Well, I think, Chris,
No, I was just gonna, is this it's an enforcement order and,
So this report was based on the enforcement order, and then they're also making an ask.
got it, okay.
so just combining the two.
Just a clarification
Yeah.
there, yep, I didn't know. what we're looking for here.
So do we need to accept the report for the enforcement order? Or just-
The enforcement order, you know, it's still in place,
Yeah.
so we don't have to vote anything on that. So right now, it's just a negative determination for the tree cutting and the,
So I'll make a negative determination for the tree cutting and planting with the stipulation that you put a sock along there.
Okay.
Right.
Second.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, unanimous. Thanks.
Have a good
Thank you.
Okay, and now we have discussion on enforcement order for 900 Adams Street.
That's my pen, that's where.
There you go.
Thank you.
Sure thing.
What are we doing?
900 Adams.
Good evening, I'm Matthew Watsky, here on behalf of Mark Bogan. I'm assuming that the commissioners were provided the updated report that Garrett Tunison did and the updated plan. Am I right? Is that correct? Okay.
Yeah, about the plan, the last time we saw you was in June.
Yeah.
I mean, July 24th, I believe it was. And we just got that report yesterday afternoon.
That's right. I was provided it by Garrett Tunison yesterday, and I gave it to you the moment that I got it.
And unfortunately, I mean, I didn't have a chance to go through the whole thing.
Well, I'm happy to describe it to you, and we'll see how this goes. So, Mr. Tunison went back out because at the last meeting, the commissioners noted that the plan did not have both the locations of the test pits and the location of the wetlands from, as they had been shown by the site tech plan that had been put together years ago. And they asked us to overlay both sets of data and to confirm that we had test pits that were in the area between Adams Street and where the southerly-most wetland line in that area was. And I'll sort of readily acknowledge I was wrong that night. I thought that there was a test pit in that area between Adams Street and the inner area that was uplands. So we had Mr. Tunison go back out to observe another test pit. So we mobilized an excavator and did another test pit. It was in an area that was not previously accessible because it had logs on it, so those logs had gotten moved, and the fill in that area was accessible. They dug the test pit, and the conclusion that Mr. Tunison reached about this new test pit is that he had a very clear boundary layer between the new fill and what had been there before, that what was there before was a very well-established A horizon and a B horizon and a C horizon that he was able to sample. That, once again, consistent with the other 5 test pits that he made observations, he was able to identify white pine, Pinus strobus, stumps and roots. And in the A, B, and C horizon, a very well-established, bright-colored upland soil. And so he concluded that similar to, or consistent with the conclusion that he reached about the other 5 test pits that he reported on, that the combination of there's satellite images of the area dominated by white pine. We have the affidavit that explains that the area was dominated by white pine, and Mr. Tunison's done the soil samples and found the white pine at the surface, the pre-existing surface layer. That white pines are a facultative upland species, not an indicator of wetlands, and that he was able to determine that there had been a very well-established A, B, and C horizon consistent with the reporting that we did before that was uplands. So all of those things lead to the conclusion that this was an upland area where this additional test pit was done. And what strikes me is that, I mean, we made a point of doing samples in the area that previously was identified as uplands. There's 2 samples there, and then samples in the southern area, the eastern area, and to the north of the central area. So in the wetlands that were surrounding what had previously been identified as uplands. And all 6 of those test pits come out as uplands.
But 2 of those test pits were right in the old parking area that's not under contention.
Excuse me?
If you look at the map that you provided, and I mentioned this at the last meeting, There were 2 test pits that were done, that were taken within the parking area that had been there since like 2000.
That's right. That's what I just explained.
So-
That's
so,
what
yeah,
I
but
just
when you say
explained, is
there's
that-
6
is that- is
test
that there was an
pits, it's like-
there was an intentional sampling of the area that was previously identified as uplands to establish what did the material that we're digging through look like in the pre-existing condition in an area that was identified as uplands. And then we intentionally then went into areas that were previously identified as wetlands, even though the whole area we knew had once upon a time been a parking lot for the drive-in theater. So that we would take the samples in areas that, under the site tech plan, had been identified as wetlands to see how did they compare. How do we compare the areas that previously were identified as uplands with the areas that were previously identified as wetlands? And what this expert has concluded is that the soils are the same in all 6
So
samples.
you did the upland to prove that it was the same as with wetland?
We were intentionally looking at upland areas as well as the wetland areas to see if there was a distinct difference in the type of
So it
soils.
appears that the sci-tech plan, whoever did that, only did it by surface vegetation.
We can't recreate what happened back then, but our best guess is that when SciTech did it, let's assume that, we'll assume that their wetlands consultant was, familiar with vegetation. We believe he obviously he did it before the culvert was unclogged. So our best guess is that there must have been herbaceous plants that had gotten established, even though you had the area dominated with the white pines, and that once the culvert was opened up, that the area became uplands again, remained uplands. And SciTech did not have, I looked at the SciTech report, they did not have soil samples to say that there was wetland soils, hydric soils
So they
throughout the
only
area.
did it on the vegetation.
So they must have just done it on the vegetation, and we're looking at soils and hydrology and the vegetation, because we've got the white pine as the dominant species.
I want to make it smaller, yeah. That's a nice theory, but I'm sorry, I don't believe that SciTech. I would like to go back and look at that and see their narrative on the delineation of this wetland, because I understand that there was a culvert that was blocked and it was unblocked, but I can't see how that would change what was previously determined as wetland, especially up here in this upper area. Perhaps maybe along here, but I'm sorry. It's a nice thought, but this was the plan that was accepted. This was what, when the proposition was put before us, that we want to use this plan, this is what we're going to go by, and now all of a sudden you're saying, okay, well, we did these 2 test pits and it says it's this soil, and we're assuming that these, and these were all done by vegetation only, and there's no proof unless we go back and look at that, in which I will pull it out of the file. I will go back and pull
Well,
that file.
the bottom line is, all of the test pits are showing that it's upland.
That's his opinion, yeah.
That's
Well,
the
it's
problem.
the-
So you dug an additional test pit, but you didn't tell the commission about it, that you were going to do it?
I believe
Because
we
if you were only
we
going to
asked.
do one, it would have been nice to know, and we could have gone out there.
I don't know what to say. Obviously, we didn't inform you before the test pit was done. It was done. Mr. Tunison's written this report.
I mean, I've done,
We thought we were doing the right thing. You indicated you wanted to have a sample in that area, and so we sent Mr. Tunison out there to go take a sample in that area when we realized that it hadn't been provided before.
the thing is that, I mean, we can go and talk about the fact that, I talked to DEP about this, and they were kind of skeptical about whether you actually could make a determination because you don't know the amount of fill that was brought in. I know from a prior time when I went out into the field and I had someone said 5 feet have been brought in, and then we dug down to 10 feet based on the soil scientist saying maybe we should go lower, and then boom, there's the hydric soil. And DEP also drew my attention to the Webb Soil Survey, which I haven't shared my screen again, whoops. And said, you know, go ahead and take a look at this site, and it maps, and they do use soil samples for this, to make these determinations.
Excuse me, what is that again?
It's called the, what is it called?
Webb Soil
Webb
Survey.
Soil Survey. It's from the USDA, and so you can, it's, you know, you make a area of interest, and then you tell it, what are all the soils in this area? And they're mapped, they're coded, so this is 659A, and you can see it's that area right there, actually of interest, and when you go, and you click on it, it tells you all the information about the soil. So here it's 80% this aqua PTS and 20% minor components, because they explained you're not going to have just one type of soil, it's going to also have mixtures of other types in it. And they pointed out what we need to look at is this section, properties and qualities, like what's the drainage class? It's poorly drained. Does it flood? No. Frequency of ponding, occasional. Hydric soil rating, yes. There's minor components that have hydric soil ratings of no. There's 2 of them. But when I went and talked to them about that after they gave me, they said, yes, this is one of the indicators of hydric soils. And you can go by this. And it does match up quite nicely with what the wetland scientists did back in 2014, and also with what you see on Mass Mapper. But the real issue from DEP's standpoint is, legally speaking, you can't have one person come out and say there's wetlands or there's not wetlands. They said even they can't go out in the field and say there's wetlands here. That it requires a quorum of the commission who will make that decision. So if you wanted to go ahead and say, I want to do this, or I now disagree that there's wetlands there, the thing to do would have been to come in and have an amendment to the NOI or to file a new NOI. And that wasn't done. You had it approved in 2019 for Lot 2. Lot 1 was not approved, and yet within 2019 to 2020, you filled in several acres. So the thing is that legally speaking, we have to take their plan, the plan that you guys gave us, that the commission approved, and that is what we were supposed to go by, because that is what you gave us, and that is what is approved.
You're talking about the plan that was for the small lot?
No, the plan, the entire NOI, the entire thing. You guys submitted a plan with 2 lots on it. Your building was on Lot 2.
There was a notice of intent.
Yep. The notice of
There
intent,
was a notice of intent filed for 0 Adams Street, this parcel,
yep,
for this building.
yes.
There's an order
and-
of conditions issued for that specific parcel. That order of conditions was binding only and solely to that parcel. It has
Anytime
no
you
binding
have a
effect on the
plan-
rest of the property.
No, no, no,
And
no,
as-
that's
and as
not
was made
correct.
clear that well, I can tell you after having practiced environmental law since 1985, that's the way that works. It was recorded in the line of title of that parcel. And that order of conditions has no bearing on the rest of the property.
That is the entire parcel that you submitted
No, there's
for the
separate.
NOI for that part, for that thing. That is the whole thing. You can't just go, well, we like this delineation, but only for this part over here. So let's keep that part, and then let's say the rest of it was just crap. You can't do that. You knew that there was wetlands there when you submitted in 2019, and then you went ahead and just filled it in anyway.
He did not just go ahead and fill it anyway. Look, he got an order of conditions for the work on that specific parcel, and then after the swale was cleared and the culvert was opened up so that the area drained, he met on the property with Mike Noonan, with Jerry Kelleher, talked with them, what else do I need to do? They told him, this area should not be considered wetlands anymore. If you want to go ahead with it, you can go ahead with it, and he did.
And that's the incorrect thing to do. And as a lawyer, you would realize that,
I
right?
wasn't involved.
I know, I'm just
I wasn't
saying,
involved, but
that's the incorrect thing to
that's
do.
what happened. We can't go back in history, but this plan, or the plan that was submitted with the 2019 NOI for the other lot, had no bearing on the rest of this property. It was
But
not
that was
binding
what
on
you
this
submitted to us. You
Pardon?
can't say, oh yeah, we like this delineation, but just right here. This was the plan of record that you gave to us. If you didn't
Okay.
want to have that lot
Orders of conditions are
considered,
binding for the property that they're recorded in the line of title of.
this is the
if
NOI that we're
The
talking about.
notice of intent leads to an order of conditions. The order of conditions was issued for a notice of intent for that specific parcel. The order of conditions referenced that specific parcel, and it's recorded in the line of title of that specific parcel. It had no bearing on the rest of this. I understand completely your skepticism about the wetlands line now being different from what was shown on the site tech plan. Mr. Bogan and Hardy Engineering never intended to just, to be bound by the site tech line. It was just convenient, that was already there. Let's fine, we'll use that. And they worked with it for the other parcel. Now we're looking at, well, what happens now, because we've got the work that went ahead on the larger parcel?
So you
Acknowledge
knew
it.
that there was a wetland on lot 1, and yet you didn't file an NOI for that?
He didn't. He
No.
talked with the Concom members, and they told him he didn't need to.
And like I said, what DEP said, that is not the way you do it. That's not legal.
No, it's not.
But
It's
that's
not.
all
It's
we
not.
could
It's
go
not.
by.
We're in an
And there's-
enforcement
Him
proceeding.
talking to
So
us.
we're in an enforcement proceeding right now because
Right.
he proceeded with the work without having gotten the permit. in
He did
advance.
what.
And
he went to
in
the
this enforcement
conservation.
proceeding, you've asked us to go out there and take the samples and establish to the best of our ability the extent to which there's uplands or wetlands on the property. And we've done that in all 6 of the test pits that we've examined. There was a very, very clear delineation between the boundary of the new fill material and what existed before. What they were able to see of what existed before is that it was perfectly consistent with a parking lot that was used for the drive-in theater. It had chunks of asphalt and gravel, and it had the white pines growing on it. So you have successional growth after the drive-in movie theater was no longer in business. And what grew there? Upland plants. And
Not all.
the test pits that he observed showed that he had the upland plants and non-hydric, very bright colored upland soils. Did you look at the color photograph that he sent? I can tell you, it's impossible to have a wetland with a test pit that has soils colored like that.
Well, you're saying that there's the presence of white pines, right, which are evergreens?
Yes.
Okay. This is from, what time of year? April 2017.
Yeah.
And I don't see a lot of white pines in some of these areas here. And I don't see 100% white pines. And as you mentioned before, you said that white pines are facultative upland. We explained last time what facultative means. You can't just say that white pines never appear in upland. They're not obligate upland plants. But if you want to make the argument that this is 100% white pine in this lot, that's not correct.
All we can report to you is the evidence that he was able to find when he did the test pits.
Yeah, but he's also gone through and he's also cut down all the trees, so we have no vegetation, and he's filled it in.
And the test pits.
And what we have
and the
is
test, so
the original plan. So it's strange that we're going from, we have wetlands, to there's 0 wetlands on this entire property.
there are wetlands on the property, just not where you put the fill.
Can I just
Yes,
back,
please.
back us up? I mean, clear, I understand that, I just want to approach this from kind of a layman's look. So are we, what is it we're looking to accomplish here? Like, is there something, I mean, clearly there's a disagreement here over what's up, what's down, I get it. What's wet, what isn't. But what are we trying to accomplish? Are we suggesting, if this was done in 2019, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm just going off the last meetings, but this was work that was performed in 2019
Yeah, so they had an NOI that
for
was
a different
approved
parcel.
for
I
a
got that
different
part.
parcel.
Yep.
So it was a little parcel
So-
up there.
But
and
this
that-
was a drive-in, I think that dates me.
Yeah.
So it was not upland at that, it was not wetland at that time.
Yeah, so if you look at like back to 2000, there's always, like in
So-
the 90s, it was all vegetated, and then somebody bought this, and they put this little road in, and they had this, and it was like this for the longest time. And then he bought the property.
So here, if I,
And
okay,
that's,
go ahead.
so we don't care about this.
Yep.
Like all that. We're not interested in it. He bought that, he then asked for this area here, an NOI, and that was approved. And on the plan that they provided, they had delineated this lot and this entire lot. And then if you go, let's go forward in time.
But if I could, Lynn, just real
Sure.
quick, I think we're all agreeing that that was not the right thing to do.
Yes.
However, just looking at it is, if I'm the owner there, he's going off what he was told was okay, which maybe in a court of law that doesn't hold water, I get it.
But he tried to do his due diligence.
He tried to do his
Told by the
diligence.
chairman of the conservation.
In the commission is, we're supposed to stop any cumulative effect or negative impact of the area. Whether he was right or wrong in 2019, that's not going to change how it sits today. I feel like we're just trying to, are we going to require them to make it back to a wetland after it's sat?
Supposed to do.
Why, I don't understand how that was affecting that area. Are we doing it because it's,
So this is what it looks
but
like.
what is being harmed right now because of the way it sits? That's,
This is what it was before.
because we're talking 6 years. Okay, so there's more trees. What are we looking at here?
This
when?
is 2025.
This is 2025, and what was the previous one?
What I was showing you is in 20,
What year is that?
this is 2018, this is 2019, and then we get to 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And this is
The
when the
area's
work was
thriving.
done.
The area seems to be thriving despite the,
Except then
Then this
it gets bigger and bigger.
So the encroachment.
There may have been, if we're gonna go back, I would say, yeah, that was the wrong thing to do, but at the same time, it's not affecting
But
anything
we-
right
I mean,
now.
we
It's not
have
causing any
people-
problems. It's not affecting habitat. I know, but what's done is done. I just,
Okay, so what's done is done, does that mean that that's okay? So after the fact, when we come in and it comes to our attention because somebody filed a complaint?
well,
we're
that
not
would be
supposed to
under
do
our
anything?
board.
Right, so, and that's what
But if a
Linda's trying
previous
to
board
say.
told him to do it,
It wasn't a previous board, it was an individual, and...
he was on the board.
Let me just say this. We had a similar situation a few years back where the chairman of the board went out, gave an okay to have something done.
But we're not supposed
It
to.
was observed, but I'm
That's
just
somebody
saying-
else, though. That's something else.
It was
Like you
observed.
said, like you guys have said to me a million times,
Right.
we got to stay on what we're on.
Right, and
We got something that was a drive-in theater, so there was no habitat or whatever we needed at that point.
It was vegetated, she just showed you.
This was well
So
after.
this changed in 2019.
No, this was
So
2018,
2019, the cleared area there is okay, but
Yeah, but then you go to 20.
It expanded,
more
right.
cleared is not okay. I mean, how does
That's-
that make sense?
2025.
Yep.
Without coming before conservation, it's just expanded.
Can I say something about that?
Yeah.
Sure.
You want to
Just
come
go
up?
up to the mic, please, Mark.
Introduce yourself and address, please.
I am Mark Bogan, Bogan Property. So, I hate to see Mike Noonan be considered like a lone wolf here. So, when we did the smaller lot, where we applied for the, forgive me, I don't know the terms and everything, but when we applied for that, I was working with Jerry Kelleher. I'd never met Mike Noonan. So Jerry and I worked on the first lot, and I followed the rules. I did what I was told. I had an attorney, a different attorney, and we went through that, and we did that. And then I opened the swale, and then that's when Mike Noonan came out. Jerry was telling me about how he planted the trees along 58 with his dad and all that stuff. So he knew the history of the place, and just conversationally. So Mike came out and they asked Jack Kane about, Jack Kane came out as well. They called him, I never called him, he was someone from the
He was the highway super at the time.
He's the highway superintendent. So the four of us stood there and talked about this, the swale situation, and all the water. There was no more water. So then, you know, I was asking about the back, not asking about anything other than doing the right thing, because I run a couple businesses and I've been doing that for 29 years, and I don't like to do the wrong thing, and I'm not trying to, you know, I'll get the lawyers, I'll get the engineers, but when we walked out back and walked around and they're talking about this and the history of the property, they're saying this was all upland, this was all parking lot, is what the term they use, you know? I said, well, can I do this, can I do that? Yeah, you can do that, clear that, grade that off. If they had told me to come in, I would have certainly came in with the same attorney that I used on the front one. So, you know, I wasn't acting rogue. Mike Noonan wasn't acting rogue. There were other people involved. He was like the second guy in. And Jerry has passed away, as some of you might know. So I couldn't call him and talk to him about this today, but Mike was available, and I feel like I've brought him out into the light to get punished, which I don't want to see happen. So anyway, that's how it happened. Was it wrong? Probably. At the time, the first time I met you out in the front there, we looked down the swale, we talked about that, and you asked me right there, you said, why didn't you come in and fill out probably an NOI?
Yeah.
Was it? And I said, because they never told me to. That's why. So that's how it got to this point. Secondary to that, I think the test pits speak for themselves. I mean, I know we all have things that I don't understand here, but that's how we are here today. You know, in the future, I'm happy to have representation, engineers, experts handle my business for me, but when they were like, no, you don't need to do that, and we had just done the other one, which I was more than willing to come in here and handle, I didn't come in, so I wasn't acting wrong. In my mind, I wasn't doing anything wrong.
Because you did what members of the Conservation
Yeah,
Commission told you.
and then I think I met Jack Kane once in my life, that day out there, and mostly worked with Kelleher, and then a little bit with Noonan. So that's how we got here.
And I totally understand that.
Yeah.
And they did not do the right thing, honestly. That's not what they were supposed to do. And it's not fair to you that they gave you incorrect information. I totally understand that. But the thing is, we've had a lot of cases where people say, I didn't even know I had wetlands. And I'm sorry, I didn't know, no one told me, and stuff like that, but they still have to restore it.
We have a couple of
Well,
enforcement orders.
wait a
now
minute,
with the
point
same
of
situation.
order. We have had people come here that took down stuff in wetlands and we didn't make them restore it. That is not true. That's even during my time on this board.
Okay.
I
So
won't mention who it
anyway,
was, but without a doubt,
I'll jump off.
two of them.
Thank you for listening.
That's not true.
I can,
Point of order, that's not true.
okay, would you like me to say who it was? It was Crabtree. We didn't make her restore.
She
And
did.
you sit, she put new trees in?
Yes.
We required new trees over there?
She cut a whole wetland down.
I know she did,
Yeah.
and we did not.
Let's
Let's
It's
move
not
on.
on the
Jean,
agenda,
Chris, let's
but
move back.
Okay, I didn't, okay.
Thank you.
So
I just
how do
think
we move
we're-
forward from this point.
So,
point is-
here,
The point is this, okay? Unfortunately, you were given bad information. There's many people that have been given bad information, that have been stuck in a situation, that have had to make right what was done wrong. We have had that happen. And we have currently a couple of that are in the same situation.
so if he was given bad information, and then we found out through a complaint, and we told them to do test pits, and the test pits come back that it's not wetlands, so we're calling his engineer and soil expert a liar.
No, we're not, but.
Yeah, we are.
That's exactly what we're
Alex,
doing.
but Alex,
Gene, just because you yell loud, it doesn't
One
make
at
you
a
right.
time.
Excuse me?
one at a time.
But Alex, as with anything else, when we have a situation where it involves many resource areas, and you have an applicant that's having to hire a wetland scientist, because we don't have it in our laws, but because of a situation like that, we can't have it peer reviewed. But whenever we have anything else done, we have a peer review, and it's an agreement between the two wetland scientists to work it out as to what seems to be fair. Because you can ask anyone at DEP, you can talk to one wetland scientist and they're gonna say one thing. You can talk to another wetland scientist and they're gonna give you a totally different piece of information. That's a fact.
So
And what
we're
it
gonna
is, you
keep
try
going.
So we're gonna punish this man, we're gonna punish this
I'm
man.
not saying we're punishing anybody. Why do you keep saying punish?
You give me 30 grand and call it not a punishment.
Sir, we're here not about the money, we're here about.
I know you
the
don't like it when I
wetlands.
disagree with you, but
We're-
it comes down to money. It's not, if you
One
look
at
at
a
the,
time and
okay,
keep your
can I
tone
respond? Can I
nice.
respond?
Chris,
Yes.
let Jean finish what she was
Okay,
saying.
go ahead, Jean.
And then-
Thank you. Again, we're here because of the wetlands. I'm not here trying to make it any more than what it is. Unfortunately, he was given bad information. How do we fix it? Oh, we just let it go? I don't think that's what we're supposed to do. I mean, I just feel that there has to be something that can be done to put back some of the wetlands that have been
They're
filled.
saying it's not wetland.
But I'm saying, we don't know that for a fact. That's from their wetland scientist, and we don't have the right to peer review this. So I'm gonna go back to the original delineation of the wetlands and see what the narrative was. I can't believe that in 2019, they only went by vegetation. Even then, DEP required at least 2 means of verification.
I think they've done everything we've asked them to do.
Can I make a motion? I'm gonna make a motion that we remove the enforcement order on 900 Adams Street.
And I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Lynn, if you don't mind, let's roll call it.
Okay. Alex?
Yes.
Rich?
Yes.
Jean?
No.
AJ?
I'm going to secede on this one.
Okay.
Yes.
Chris? Okay. So, and I'm a no. So what's the vote?
So the vote is 3 to 2.
Yeah, 3 to 2 in favor of,
Removing the enforcement order.
yep.
Right.
I
Thank
would
you all.
suggest if you ever decide to do anything else.
Yeah, don't, yeah.
100%.
Yeah. But I'm just going to say that he's done everything we've asked him to do, and just because he comes back with a report that some of the board members don't like, doesn't mean that report is wrong.
It's not a question of not liking it, Alex.
Well, what more do you
What is
want them to do?
Because I cannot believe that this soil and SciTech from 2019 is just based on vegetation, which is what you said.
That's
I have
my
not read the
opinion.
narrative on that, I didn't pull the file. I wanted to clarify that point, and yet there's a motion to remove it, and I can't verify that information. That's all.
No?
I want to back things up with facts. That's what I want to see.
I guess our facts are, okay. Yeah, they're right.
Yep, that's the vote.
Okay. That's the vote.
All right, next up on the agenda, discussion on.
Thank you, guys.
You guys are gonna get a letter.
Have a good night, gentlemen.
You'll get a letter from the department heads then.
Discussion on town-owned land at Zero Vineyard Road. So we had a number of people who live on Harris Court who requested that, oh, shoot, what happened? I'm gonna show.
So does
show
this,
you guys
this is
the-
the land that backs up against,
Oh, no.
1424 and 1428.
yes.
Yes.
Sorry. Right, so yeah, it does back up 1424, 1428. It's, I don't know if it was one parcel of land or several parcels of land. Nick, do you know how many?
I mean, I believe what they're talking about is one parcel.
Okay.
There might be, there's 3 total.
Three
that kind of hook
parcels?
over the
Thank you.
inside.
So there are 3 parcels along there.
Seems their biggest concerns in between them and Route 18.
So it's town-owned land. Fortunately, my computer died, but you can pull it up on Mass Mapper. You can see it is 99% wetlands.
What is it, Zero Vineyard?
Zero vineyard. So if you
Put in
look up,
1424 Bedford.
I don't know, 1424 Bedford Street, it's right
It's right behind
behind that. And there's several,
And
I
it
think,
goes all the way
smaller
over
parcels.
to Elm Street and Vineyard Road, I believe.
Yeah, yep, exactly.
It's a huge, huge area out there.
Yeah. So they made a request that it be put into conservation.
This whole part.
And the Board of, the Select Board had it on the agenda last night, and they voted to send it to us for being put into conservation in perpetuity.
So I want to give a nice shout out to Roger Woods for that motion.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
that was very good. So it was very
So is
helpful.
this just gonna be one of the parcels, or are we doing
3.
3 parcels?
Mr. Selectman, do you want to get to the? No.
So it's all the land behind 1420,
For
Yeah, all the
1428.
way.
Yeah, so that, there was a really big parcel, and I
Right.
think there were 2 next to it.
And do you know that that parcel and also the land from Weymouth, their wetland that connects right into those 3 parcels is actually the headwater for the Schunem-Tuscamp River? That's what creates that whole river, is that wetland up in there? It's amazing. I just figured I'd throw that out
So
there.
what are we looking for? Do we have to accept it? or-
We have to formally accept it,
Okay.
and then it goes to town meeting? Is that correct?
Yes, I believe
There's a
it does.
warrant?
Yeah.
Okay. And then the town accepts it.
Well,
I'll make a motion to accept it.
of course we're gonna accept it.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous. Awesome. Okay.
Cool.
good.
So does that mean we get to manage it?
Yes.
If you want to manage it, you can manage it. We'll appoint you as manager.
We have a lot of parcels that need to be
We've got
looked
a lot
after.
of parcels.
I'd like
My
to see a
whole
line.
neighborhood, the whole backside of my
You'd like to
neighborhood
see a
is
list?
Yeah.
conservation.
No, I would like to see a property line.
Well, that's another thing. I think that's a whole different issue that the town's working on.
Yeah.
I think they are working on that, right? Yeah.
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 No, this is good. I'm really happy about that. All right, I have discussion on enforcement order for 75 Niles Street. The only reason this is on here is because we forgot to make an amendment to the enforcement order for the November 1st deadline. So we have to have an official vote to make that amendment.
I thought we didn't do that?
No, we didn't. I got a phone call about it.
Oh.
Someone said you forgot to do that.
Oh, I thought we did.
And I said, okay.
So
we need to
I
do?
would make a motion to amend the enforcement order at 75 Niles to include the deadline of November 1st
For complete
for
restoration.
complete
Yeah.
restoration.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous, great, okay. And now reaching the end, building permit site visits. We have the Center Ave Bridge. So Nick, you want to describe what's going on out there?
Yeah, they're working on the culvert on the bridge.
Were we supposed to have a peer review, I mean, pre-construction on that?
They had me out. To be honest, it came up on me kind of quick with a lot of other stuff I had going on. Probably should have extended an invite. It didn't end up happening.
Okay.
But you went out.
I did go out.
Did you use our checklist?
I did not have a checklist with me.
Could you go do it again, Nick?
This very
back out
much
there.
snuck up on me in a very busy time for me.
Did they call you that morning and say, hey, can you come out?
They gave me plenty of notice.
Okay.
I didn't give myself much notice.
Okay, sorry.
No fault of them. I've stopped by a couple times since too. They seem to be doing a great job.
Okay.
They pretty much have, you know, the Grove side of it dammed up. Water gets pumped around. They get the downstream side also dammed, just in case. Everything that's pumped goes through a silt sack to, you know, keep it safe. They got a lot of erosion control, silt socks, everything around.
Yeah.
They seem to be taking it pretty seriously.
On the side of Center Ave, where the house is right beside there, they were supposed to put up some sort of fencing to prevent children from going in there, because I guess the kids have been playing in and along that water, and that was a concern I think we brought up when we did the original walk with the engineer.
Okay. Are you talking for the construction or a permanent fence?
Just for the construction, because we didn't want any kids, you know how kids are.
Yep.
They're gonna be,
Yep.
even if there's a construction site, they get pulled right in and they wanna, and.
But I
plus
think
there's-
didn't they also mention that there were people going in there?
Yeah, they had
And that's
mentioned that
why
there were a
they
couple of
asked them.
kids going down in there, because on the backside is Spencer's and everything,
Yep.
so they were all, kids go in there.
Gotcha.
I don't know.
I feel attacked.
I'm sorry. Don't be attacked, but I mean, it's just from a safety point of view, that was it.
Yeah, I don't believe a fence was put up.
It's
but
just
I
one of
could-
those temporary, you know, like snow fence
Yeah.
things where, you know, the kids, obviously it's a visual barrier and they shouldn't be.
Yeah, I think they currently have kind of like the porta potty and a machine and stuff. They kind of
Yeah.
keep there as a barrier. But I don't think there's a fence up.
Yeah.
We'd certainly ask. I don't think they'll have any
Yeah.
trouble doing it. It's a pretty
I
cheap
mean,
thing to
because
do quick.
they did mention that there were kids out there.
Yeah.
And we know in the back of the day, they used to jump off the other side into the water from.
Yeah, and that was another thing, because that area, they're gonna do a restoration
Yep.
in there. And the concern is, well, if
Gets
people
trampled.
keep going through there, how is that gonna be when they do that restoration? So that was the discussion that we had.
Gotcha.
What to do during the construction, then what do we do while we're trying to have the area restored? Or
Yeah.
there was some replication, but like
This is a
70
small
feet.
replication. It's mostly the disturbance they have getting in and out of there.
Yeah.
They got to get a machine in there. It's a pretty steep bank they're going down.
Yeah.
He said it took him a while to get. It's 15 feet, and he said it took him quite a while to get down. Just trying to.
More impressed that
zigzag a
machine
little
comes up and down every night.
bit. Yeah, no, it's a tough spot. I wouldn't want to be the one operating. But yeah, no, I'll certainly bring up the fence to him. I don't
Okay.
anticipate there being any issue with them on that.
Okay.
It's a pretty minimal cost.
Good. Okay. Anything else about? We're good with that? Okay.
Good.
Sounds good.
Anything else? I
No.
don't think there was any complaints, correspondence.
No, nothing exciting. I mean, mostly what we talked about Zero Vineyard was, the
Yeah.
bulk of the correspondence we got, and then,
Yeah.
Linwood had a couple people reach out, just confirming when the agenda was. For some reason, a lot of people thought the second was gonna be a meeting.
Is it because
I think we just had that long break and everyone just thought a meeting was coming. So I had a couple people, the agenda's not up for the meeting tonight. No, it's next week. See you then.
Yeah,
But,
it's
nothing,
always second and fourth.
yeah.
So, just review, we were gonna meet next Tuesday for the bylaw.
Yeah, that's what we had talked about at one point.
Yeah.
I am not going to be able to do that and also you can't either?
I can't either.
Can we push it to October?
Yeah, because I'm gonna be in Maryland next week, so.
All right.
And then, while we're on that, when are we doing the class? That's
The
25th.
class is the 25th,
And what's the time of that?
9 to 3,
9 to 3.
and that's
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
A little bit early to help set up would be great too, for us as the hosts.
9
Has there
a.m.
been a lot of responses?
I-
How many attendees?
I have no idea.
That's September 25th, right?
September 25th, yeah.
9 to 3.
Yep, 2 weeks from Thursday.
Are our commissioners gonna be able to make it?
Our
yeah.
commission, I think we got 6 of you going, if I remember correctly, which is great. The,
I might have to sneak out a little early, but
Yeah.
be here till almost 3.
MACC was also nice enough to give me a free spot in it, which
Nice.
doesn't really matter who gets the free spot, it's all the same budget, but they chose me
No,
for
it's
that,
yours,
for
it's
that
yours.
distinction, which I thought was nice. It's gonna be a tight budget year for the town, and every bit helps, so
Yeah.
that was generous of them. But I haven't heard what we have coming outside of us, one way or the other.
I didn't see it advertised.
It was.
I've
It
gotten-
was. I saw it, the pamphlet.
Yeah, I've gotten in
Okay.
their emails.
Yeah,
I know
it
it's
was
been
in
on their
their
website. So I don't know. I know she said that there was a lot of people looking to do something on the South Shore, but I haven't heard since she posted how much she got
Right.
Yeah.
for a response.
They're gonna have their courses, right, for certification,
Yes,
probably starting next month?
I think those are starting
Usually
this
when they
month
do.
even.
This month?
Um,
They usually do it like September, October. So for
So-
those of you who want to get certified.
Back to the policy, do we think we're gonna have a light meeting the next meeting? We could do it after that, maybe? I
What
don't-
policies are we talking about? Leon?
I don't know if you were here, but I suggested that we have a meeting outside of one of these meetings, because it could take a while, just to review all the policies, bylaws, and whatever else.
Regulations.
Regulations, that's the word, that have been enacted over the last 10 years or so by the board. So we all know exactly what they are, and we can discuss them and make adjustments, suggestions, whatever. But I don't know all of them, you know, I'm sure you don't know all of them. I mean, I've been reading some stuff, but I think it would be good for everyone to be on the same page, just to review them.
Oh, I think, Nick, didn't you come up with an idea for an adjustment to the bylaw too? Didn't you? I think you did. What were we talking about?
I don't remember anything in particular. I'm always
So-
playing with different bylaws that we have. I deal with so many of them.
Yeah, something came up and we had talked about it, and you mentioned something, I'm like, wow, that's a really good idea. I can't remember what it was either.
So I think that, why don't we tentatively plan it for the next meeting? You know, do our business first.
Yeah, it's not something that we have to get through everything in one go either.
Right, we're not gonna get through it.
If we finish our meeting at 7,
Yeah, maybe we block
and
it
then
out
we
till 8.
spend an hour, and then it gets to be 8.
Yeah, I don't wanna
We
be.
ever had a meeting that
Well, I
starts at
think we
6:30 and
just-
ends at 7?
Yeah.
I mean, if we don't look for it, then
Once.
No, we've had
Once.
three
We've
of
got
them.
a couple.
We've had three of them.
I think the first one is just to go over the bylaw.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll
And
start there and
because-
branch
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
That, this is the longest
Yeah.
of everything. And,
So could you email the
Compare it to
bylaws
state
to
law.
everyone, make sure the whole board
Yeah.
has the bylaws?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that way, and let's plan it at the next meeting. We have to advertise, you know, put it on the agenda that
The,
we'll be discussing them.
yeah, we're not looking
Great
to,
idea.
to vote on any change or anything like that. We'll really
Right,
talk
no,
about it.
I don't think we should vote on any change. I think
No, we
what
can
we
talk,
should do is
have ideas.
review them all and discuss them. And then if we want to make changes
Come back.
or
Post
make a
changes
vote,
the next
then we
meeting.
post it and
Yeah.
do that. But I think a discussion at a public meeting would be good.
Yeah,
Do we set the bylaws and regulations, or is that
a change to the bylaw.
That's the
with
town it goes to.
meeting.
town
Yeah.
meeting,
meeting.
yeah.
The regulations.
the regulations are
would be
different
just
though?
here,
It's
yeah.
just here.
Yep.
But they have a
And
special
policies would
process.
be-
Yes.
Regulations, we do have a public meeting for the public to.
Separate hearing.
To give their input.
A separate meeting.
So let's start with that at the next meeting.
Yeah,
Bylaw.
Yeah.
Differences
23rd.
between Abington and the state.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Because I don't think, I mean, we can continued one, but I don't have anything, I haven't heard of any
Yeah,
application
well, that's
coming
what I
in.
mean, and we're not
So
gonna get
it's-
it done within the next week.
It's looking pretty light currently.
They've got to file within a week if they're gonna be on the.
Yeah, I mean, anyone who has to advertise is already out.
Yeah. That's
And
what
you're
I
in
mean.
Maryland for the whole week before anyways, so how's
I
that
guess I
gonna
won't be
work?
receiving much either.
Yeah.
The,
So let's,
but yeah,
good.
to the fundamentals, Linda, you were bringing up, September 23rd, those start up.
The same day.
No, the 25th is the other one, right?
25th is our class here. The 23rd, the fundamental classes are all via Zoom or whatever, they're at night.
okay.
Looks like
hit that
6,
one.
6 to 8:30. Who, I know you two haven't done them. Is everyone else
I'm certified.
all good?
Yeah.
The, do we know about John? Off the top of our
John,
head?
I don't know what he's doing right now.
I think he was working on them, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
But,
I feel like he was certified, because I think he was given,
just as a point of reference, sometimes they have the lunch and learn ones too.
Those are nice. Those are free,
Those are very
yeah.
good. They're only an hour long, so if you're
Yeah.
sitting there having your lunch, I know I've signed up for 3 different ones that are coming up.
yeah, they're always free too.
Yeah, and it doesn't cost us anything. so-
But you guys are MACC members, just by being on this commission. It's something we pay for every year. I'll shoot you two, and John will ask, the full schedule. Hopefully we can get right through it. Sign you up, town pays for it, everything like that.
I just can't do I already know I can't do the 25th, because I was gonna do that.
Yeah, that's the daytime one.
I know.
These are all nighttime
Those would be great
Zooms,
for me, yeah.
aside from
Yeah.
the fall conference,
Okay.
where you do your last 2 courses, is generally how they set it up. And
Sometimes
that's a
they have
Saturday.
like a March Madness in a fall,
Yeah, I think they,
where you
I
can
think there's
just
one
do
course they.
Do those lunch and learns, do they count towards it? No?
No, lunch and learn is just.
Just
where you can
general
pick up-
education?
You can pick up new education on different things, especially like environmental, the weather impacting environmental stuff and.
Fall conference is October 25th. I think they've been kind of setting it up, trying to make you go to a conference to get one of the classes you
I
need.
know.
Yeah,
They
I think
throw
we
it
did
in,
all-
like,
I think
middle
we
of
did all ours on
Massachusetts.
Zoom though, didn't we?
Yeah, they were.
We did all of ours on
Yeah, we
Zoom.
did.
When were you guys doing it
COVID.
more
Yeah,
COVID time?
COVID world.
It was post-COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Barely. They've gotten a little,
Fairly, yeah.
they fill out their conference pretty well with having one class need to be there.
Yeah. The conference looked really
One of the
interesting.
mandatory ones, really?
Yeah,
Like 101, 102?
yeah, when I did it, I had one of my 100 courses was at the conference, and then you can also do one of the 200s there,
Good,
which
they
I
just want-
chose to do to fill it out.
Yeah.
They put on a pretty good conference though.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Yeah.
I mean, just reading some of the people that are there with their presentations.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny, some of them, LEC's a big backer, and they were one of our first peer reviewers.
Yeah, they keep pretty busy.
Yeah.
And there might be big changes coming soon with the Wetlands Protection Act.
Yeah, that's what I was reading.
Yeah.
What, at the state level?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of them is potentially having a 9th interest of the act for climate change resiliency. And MACC had 2 webinars on it,
Yes.
and I asked the question, what does that mean? What are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
You know, and they didn't give me a good answer as to what that means. But they have other things in that bill, money for circuit riders. Tree planting is a priority. They want to avoid hotspots and
Heat
trying to
islands.
get money for private landowners to start planting trees. One of it is, I think, 2 controversial things is because they see climate change as something they need to incorporate into the Wetlands Protection Act, is the culverts. They are proposing to widen culverts throughout the states, but to not let local bylaws be used, to just
On that,
state
okay.
level. Which can argue is good or bad.
Yeah.
Another one, there's for affordable housing. It kind of sounds like, like right now we have a 40B situation. If we hit the 10% mark, we don't have, too much difficulty with 40Bs, but it seems that now they're going to have a state, this is what we think is important, therefore approve it without your local bylaw.
How would that impact conservation? Or is that separate?
Basically, and it was very unclear, and
Oh, they're saying you
MACC
can
was like.
bypass some of the rules for the
They-
40B?
yeah,
I got it.
exactly.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Exactly. Automatic, like, your local
Yeah.
bylaws no longer apply for anything, therefore you just go by the state.
That's how you get
The whole point of having home rule, though, is that each town knows best for themselves, so that was one thing. And DEP would have no input into stuff like that in terms of the stuff. So people were like, well, maybe you should have someone,
That's where it gets ugly.
you know, who can do that. There's a lot of good things in there, but there's some things that I think would be challenging for us and things that were very ill-defined. It's like, what do you mean by this? Like, you have to spell it out. There was another nature resiliency thing that program, but DEP would have guidelines for it. But who the heck knows what they mean by all that? So, I don't know if it's even gonna pass, but that's what they were talking
Something
about.
to watch.
Can I make a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous.